Okay, so this is my back, and it is falling off of my shoulder a little bit. This is a challenge. Anyway, this is my back. Let me just pull this over where it should be. So that's my back going down. You can tell it's going right down the center of my back, and you can see the arm side, the fisheye dart. And I don't have a lot of wrinkles or lines in the back, so the back looks fairly good to me. Once I make that armhole adjustment, it's going to affect the back as well. So I might need to do something in this area here on the other side of that dart. But otherwise, the length is great. It's sitting in the back of my neck. I may open that seam up and give myself a little bit more space there. But I just wanted to show you where I was at. This is part B. My camera, I hit the wrong button, and so the camera actually went off. So there we go so far on the, try to do it this way. I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how you make it happen. But that's what we have so far on the jacket front. Let's turn this way. The jacket front and the back. So I'm going to make a sample of this as soon as I make the adjustments in the dart, in the shoulder, and probably open that seam up in the back and add another seam allowance to that. Okay, so that's where we're at, and we will pick you up next time with a sample sloper. I hope you're working on yours, and I hope that you're finding it, you may be finding it a little challenging. I'm all pinned. I pinned myself in this, so I'll have to take it off. But I hope you're challenging yourself at least to get your blocks that fit you well. Once you've done that, the world is your oyster, literally. So remember, if you don't want to use just your bust, your waist, and hip measurements, because even in doing your bust, your waist, your hip, and shoulder measurements, you're still going to have to make adjustments. The only one where you don't probably have to make adjustments is if you draft that pattern yourself, meaning you take every little measurement. Where's my book? You take every little measurement. Okay, so I'm using the Dressmaking for Fashion Design book by Helen Joseph Armstrong, 2nd edition. And so in this book, this is a pattern making book that helps you learn how to manipulate darts, help you learn how to take your measurements, where you should take your measurements. So when I talk about taking your measurements, all of your measurements, this is what I'm talking about. This is not even all of them, but it gives you a good example. So strap measurements here, from your neck to your underarm, and then on this side from your back to your underarm. Your shoulder width measurement here. Do you know what the depth of your side seam from your arm side to your waist is? You'll need that. You'll need your hip measurement. You'll need to know on your center front how far from your neck down to your waist, from your waist up to your shoulder slope, from your neck down to your waist. All of these measurements are very important, and then making those same measurements on the back. But when you're drafting a pattern, you're actually going to need more of the measurements than what I'm showing you right here, okay? So now when you're doing just a basic sloper with your measurements, these are the ones that you're going to want to make sure that you take, and that is, your waistline measurement, your high hip, your hip line, your bust line, I call this the 4-inch. It's 4 inches down from your shoulder seam, kind of where the joint of your arm meets your body under your arm. Right there, that measurement's very important. And then this measurement right here is going to help understand how wide you are from shoulder to shoulder. So there's a lot of measurements that you can take, that you'll have to take. This book is perfect for you to learn how to draft your own patterns. This is called Drafting the Basic Patterns. These are some of the measurements that you will need. And then they take you through the whole genre, the whole skadoodle about how to plot these measurements. But I'm telling you, especially if you feel like your body is weird. Some of us feel like we have a weird body. And I am one of those some of us. I have a very small shoulder, but I have a larger bust. So that makes it difficult for me to find jackets that fit well in the shoulder and in the bust, tops that fit well in the shoulder and in the bust, unless I use Nancy Ziemann's tactic when I'm making a garment to use my right size measurement, which is a size 14. That's only if I'm using a regular pattern. If I'm drafting a pattern, then that helps me know what my measurements are and how they're going to fit. And ultimately, because if you're larger busted, you're still going to have to make some full bust adjustments. So there's just a lot of things that happen when you're trying to build a sloper. But let me encourage you. I'm sitting here with my pattern. It is literally taped to my clothes. Let me encourage you, though, that once you get your sloper patterns, let me show you the pattern pieces I'm talking about. Once you get these 5 babies right here, your back bodice, front bodice, sleeve, back skirt, and front skirt, once you get those down pat, again, the world is the world is your oyster. So I hope you're encouraged. Don't be afraid. Jump in the pool. The water is fine. Let me say it like this. This is what I have said to myself many times. If anybody has ever learned it, you can learn it too. If it can be taught, it can be learned, right? So there you go. I hope you're enjoying my journey as I'm putting this first project together. Then we're going to do the, we're going to do this, your personal fitting pattern project. I'm going to actually make this and fit it to my body. Okay. It's going to be difficult because I'm going to be the only one doing it. I don't have any sewing hands or interns or anybody to come help me. So I'll be doing that. And then I will be drafting. That's going to be the challenge. I will be drafting a pattern using, this is figure analysis. This book is great. It gives you all kinds of information. But I will be drafting the basic patterns from my own measurements. And that's where all of this will come into play. Drafting the basic patterns. But once you have them done, you can sew to your heart's content. And the other good thing about it is if there's any shifts in your body measurements, let's say that you weren't pregnant when you plotted your 5 pattern pieces, your building blocks for patterns, and you weren't pregnant, and then you got pregnant, and now after you've had the baby, those pattern pieces are more than likely going to need to be adjusted. Or if you have had a major weight loss, let's say at my point that I am taking my measurements, making these pattern pieces, right, that fit me right now. This is for right now in ordinary life. This is for right now in your current life. And then you go on a weight loss journey and you hit your goal, and your goal is quite a bit your goal is going to bring you to weigh less than you did when you built your blocks. So you just keep that in mind, that keep your regular patterns, the building block or the pattern blocks that worked at the current state right now, and then just go ahead and make the adjustments that you need to make. I still recommend Nancy Zieman pattern fitting with confidence. And there's another one for plus size women. I don't have it here with me. There's another one for plus size gals as well, so that you can keep track. And then you can mark it on your pattern. I feel like I'm rambling, but I feel like this needs to be said. But then you'll mark it on your pattern, the date that you took those measurements, and what those measurements were, so that if you fluctuate, you can always know that that pattern is going to work great for you, or at least it should, with very little adjustments. So I'm going to leave it at that. I've been rambling on for a while, and so I hope something was said to encourage your sewing journey and to let you know that creativity is yours and you can do this. Enjoy yourself. Have a great day, morning, or evening, wherever you are. Bye-bye.